along on the journey.
Yeah.
So
maybe starting with a smaller, if it's working with an Indigenous organisation, maybe start with a smaller organisation or smaller groups. Okay, I'm running out of time. Does the type of industry have impact? If you're a public sector kind of organisation, is that different if you're retail or technology or engineering construction? Is it a different type of industry? Would that lend itself more to a comic and creative contract? Yeah, can. Well, though we've seen examples of staff employment agreements, so that could really apply to anyone, couldn't it? All right, so who would be the best person to sponsor or implement? I'm going to stop keep saying comic and creative contracts. I'm just going to say 3 squared or 3 cubed. C cubed, that's it, C cubed. C squared. Cubed? Squared. Okay, that's 3 C's. 3 C's.
Well, it's C cubed and it becomes 4 C's.
Okay. All right, C3. C3PO. Oh, no. Sorry, come on. Who is best stakeholder or person to
John
do this?
McGuire.
Innovation officer, yeah. Yeah?
I wouldn't just say anyone, but you'll need to bring others along the journey.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it depends on the industry, the specific industry and the specific structure of the company. Some companies lend themselves easier to a hierarchy that allows this to happen, and some companies have an ethos that allow it to happen, and some companies have neither.
Yeah. So from your own perspective, your own context may or may not be applicable, may or may not be easy, may or not be relevant, but also look at it from other contexts when you're supporting or having a conversation about this area. So that was just some thoughts I just wanted to share with you, and I'll be back tomorrow with talking about mind mapping specifically. So thank you.
So much, and I'll leave the questions to the workshop tomorrow if that's okay?
Yeah, we're running out of time.
Because we're running a bit out of time. We actually have Robert Sikoryak standing by. If there are any questions for Robert?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions they want to ask Robert, the iTunes graphic author, because it's 3 a.m. where he is, and he's decided to stay up to take these questions. So I have a couple of questions for him. Is he standing by?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a question for him. I want to ask him if he would want to be part of a group like this and be part of illustrating law, if that's something he'd like to work with.
Do you want me to get it up or?
Do you want to put it down here?
Yeah, sure.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
And then maybe if the rest of us have, put your thinking caps on. Anything you want to ask him or not? And after this, the final item is the video from Colette, and she's not standing by, so it's just a quick 10-minute video with questions and answers. And the dinner tonight, I know that John said 6 o'clock, that's not true, it's 6:30, it's in your programs, it hasn't changed, it's 6:30 at the Oricon offices. So it gives us time to relax, go home and change if we want to do that, whatever needs to be done, and then we meet up again at the Oricon offices. So just a bit of housekeeping. Hopefully this should work.
So while we're waiting for that, have a chat with your neighbour. What
Yeah,
are some
sorry.
questions or things that you want to ask Robert? Have a quick chat about the couple of presentations that we've had. It's probably getting my mind.
Thank
Never leave home without being able to give a presentation.
I said no. Just I said no by show of hands. And I've been honest and been such a sell-off. And I just went, it's not going to go.
Can you hear us? Yes. Can everybody hear Robert?
We'll just turn you around, not let's say.
So we're just going to turn you around so you can see the room. But thank you for an absolutely lovely little 3 videos to your questions. We had a lot of fun with it. I still love the narrative of the guy who felt he was forced to read terms and conditions. So there's your room full of smart lawyers and smart graphic artists and smart engineers who all want to change things and turn on silos and do things better.
Very cool.
Does anybody have a question for Robert? Because I have a killer one.
You start.
Okay, so I'll start. So we have this room full of lawyers and graphic artists and engineers who all think that what you did with the iTunes conditions is absolutely awesome. We know that you did it as a graphic illustrator, but we're seeing so much potential here. And so a lot of us are wondering whether you might be interested in collaborating on more of stuff like this. If we help simplify the wording, do you think you might want to illustrate some of it?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm up for anything.
You said yes! That's awesome. That's very exciting because the next challenge for us as lawyers, if we're going to make more fun law, is to get fun people like you involved in making it fun. I think I said fun 3 times, but that'll do it, right?
Sure.
So how would we go about that, do you think?
Go about what?
How can we go about
Starting from scratch.
a good collaboration? How do you think we could do that? Lawyers and graphic illustrators.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, when I was doing the talk, and it was hard doing it in a vacuum, so I felt like I stumbled a little bit. But I think what I was trying to say was, I think it's just good to have people involved in the process the whole way. When I retell a piece of literature, or even obviously with the terms and conditions, I always sort of look to see what cartoonists in the past have done. Like the way that they tell stories, the way they break down panels. So I always like to use sort of the structures that already exist. So I think if you're going to actually build something from scratch, then the best thing maybe is to find, a group of collaborators who are willing to sort of, get feedback along the way as they're, as they're going to sort of figure out exactly what will work in the new format. What would be, not repetitive or as I said, not literal. I always feel like the literalness of comics sometimes can be really crushing.
So can the literalness of law, I can assure you. The literalness of law can be equally crushing.
Sure. So you're always trying to find that balance. It's funny, sometimes when I do illustration work for people, they'll just send me the script and then I'll illustrate it. And that's fine if that's the job, but sometimes if people aren't used to writing comics, then it can be ridiculously verbose, which is kind of what I was making fun of with my book. But if you really want to make it, you really want the ease of communication, then I think it's great to have the collaborators, kind of in on the process together.
That sounds very sensible. So I've got Robert DeRoy here in the room. He's got some experience with comic book contracts. Oh, can you see him? Robert has a question?
Okay, hi. I've got 2 questions. Firstly, I would like to know what you mean when you say that contracts can be very literal. And then my second question is, when you adapt the text of, say, for example, a book to a comic, what is the process that you follow? Do you script it and storyboard it and then draw it, or what is that process that you follow in translating words to pictures?
Right. I can't quite see you. I think you're slightly cut off.
Oh,
Before you
sorry,
answer the question.
I'm right in the corner.
I see everyone sort of looking over to the side, so I think you're on the side.
Yeah, this is
Sorry, there he is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I see you. Hi. So, yes, the literalness I think I was referring to was more on the comic side than the writing side. There are a lot of nonfiction books that have been adapted into comics, and often what happens is there's a big block of text, and then the drawing just like re-illustrates what the text is already saying, so it can be kind of redundant. So that's the thing. Sometimes I think that is actually very effective. It sort of like underlines the importance. But if you're reading a long book where that happens a lot, it just becomes tedious. You either don't need the pictures or you don't need the words, because somehow they're sort of telling the same story. So that's the literalness I'm always sort of trying to push against in one way or the other. And then as far as the way that I proceed to adapt a story into a comic is a whole other slideshow. But I tend to sort of like to work on the writing and the drawing at the same time. So I'll switch back and forth between writing like bullet points that I want to illustrate, but then also doing like very small thumbnail drawings of what might happen from panel to panel. So I have big binders of work. I'm seeing if I have anything here that's very convenient. But I have binders of work that just sort of gathers all my sketches together and all of my notes together, and I really like to sort of go back and forth between the two parts of the process. So I know there are people that will write a full script, but I actually sort of like to resolve them at the same time. What I thought was fun about illustrating this was that I had no choice. I just had to use what they gave me. Like that was the assignment I made for myself. They didn't give it to me, I decided to do it on my own. So in that case, I just sort of ran with what they gave me, which I knew was, very verbose and unwieldy, and that was kind of the fun of doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have a special process for identifying bullet points or what you think is the key or the essence of the story?
No, it's just a matter of reading it again and again and again. Usually, like I mentioned in one of the videos, when I take a long novel and boil it down to like a 10 or 14 page story, I'll often look at what other adaptations have done. So I'll watch movie adaptations, I'll read other comic book versions, I'll even look at a book that we have here called Cliff's Notes. I don't know if they have them there, but you probably have something similar that are sort of like study guides for kids.
We're
for like
familiar.
yeah. So I even look at those, and sometimes they don't have the best solutions, but they offer a possible solution. So I sort of like to look at every permutation and then decide on what's most important. The other thing for me that's really valuable is if I'm combining a novel with a comic. So for instance, I did Crime and Punishment as a Batman story. I focused on the things in the novel that were most related to Batman. So, I was trying to sort of tell the story from the viewpoint of a superhero comic. So while I didn't change what was in the book, I selected elements that I thought would sort of make my premise. So, it's a back and forth kind of thing.
That makes a lot of sense, thank you. So we have a question now from Thomas Barton from University of California.
Yeah, really fascinating work, and thank you so much for staying up all night to take our questions. Thank you.
I'm so excited to talk to people about this stuff.
Yeah.
We're very excited to have you here in video, thank you.
I'm interested in objective and subjective and artistic license and expression. To what extent do you think that when you illustrate any work of literature, that you're editorializing or you're offering your own kind of slant or vision or emphasis of themes? Do you consider yourself to be objective, standing apart from the work of literature, or do you see your role as communicating something significant like a literary critic? Do Do you think it's inescapable that you act as a critic in the expressions that you put on people's faces, or the comic theme that you adopt for a given portion? How does that work?
Well, that's a great question, and that's a big question. But I think one of the reasons I really like doing annotation is I don't really trust annotation. I feel that, I shouldn't say I don't trust it, but it's really hard to make one that is interesting. Someone once said that an annotation is like a lover, because they can be faithful or they can be beautiful. It's hard to do both in an annotation. So you can be very literal minded and sort of lay it out, and then that can be sort of satisfying to sort of deliver the story that you like, but it can often be very tedious. Whereas an annotation that takes real liberties can be exciting and kind of new, but you wouldn't want to use that to write a book report from, because it's sort of might have changed it around. So for what I do, I actually, in a way, I'm trying to do both, because I'm editorializing on the subject by the choice of the images. So for trying to make a connection between the protagonist of Crime and Punishment and the protagonist of Batman comics, that's like taking a stand, and that's making trying to make a point. But on the other hand, when I choose those two things, I try to be faithful to both. So that's where the absurdity comes in, because I don't change the plot of Crime and Punishment to make it more like Batman. I just say, no, these things belong together. And I think that kind of happens with any annotation you have anyway, because people always bring their expectations or their editorializing to whatever they do. So for what I'm trying to do is sort of take someone else's editorial position, that of the Batman writer, and take the editorial position of Dostoevsky, and put them together, but let them fight it out. So I'm sort of watching them, and I'm sort of like trying to figure out how they fit together, and how they don't fit together. And that's often where when the work becomes funny, or it might even become poignant. Sometimes the two things that I choose work together very well, but I still try to sort of let them be what they are. But I go in knowing that this is absurd and they don't belong together, but I sort of insist. So, I'm sort of trying to play it from both sides.
Thank you so much. I think we're going to have to stop here because we're running a bit over time. So unless there's a final pressing question. One last question.
Vanessa, can I ask,
From Suzanne.
what's your favorite graphic novel right now? What are you reading?
She's asking what you're reading right now.
Yeah, graphic novel, because I see you have a lot behind you. You're like MetaMouse? Yeah.
Well, I do a lot of research, so I read a lot of comics. So let's see. I'm reading the new graphic novel I'm reading right now is my favorite thing is Monsters, which is the graphic novel that everyone in the world seems to be reading right now, and it's very good. And it's a style I would love to try to work with sometime. I don't know when, but I like it because it feels very different than a lot of comics I've seen. And then the other thing that I'm reading right now is Dick Tracy, because I'm working on a detective parody, and when I do one of my parodies, I am avidly reading and rereading the source materials. So I'm reading not the new Dick Tracy, which is fine, but I'm reading the work that is all coming back into print, all the stuff from the 50s and 60s. It's very brutal. It's very American, and it was hugely popular, and it's really good. So when I'm on a project, I kind of just read and reread the sources. So those are the two things. Like I try to read contemporary stuff, but I'm often like stuck in the past reading, for reference.
I think that's such a lovely question, because if we lawyers are going to start tearing down our silos and working with other people and other branches, we have to realize things like comics aren't just comics. there's a plethora of different styles and writings and approaches, and we have to get to know a little bit about that if we're going to be tearing down those silos and working with illustrators. So thank you, Shilan, for that excellent question. And thank you so much, Robert, for your time. Can we give him a hand? And I will most definitely be in touch with you, sir. Thank you. And bye-bye.
Bye. Good night. Or good day.
Thank you. Good night. Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for those questions.
Sure. And thanks, Chris.
No worries.
All right.
Bye.
We're good then. All right. Bye.
I think that's it.
Thank you so much. That worked beautifully. So that was an incredibly good connection. We normally get quite shaky connections here, which is why we had the video initially, if you're wondering about the choice of medium. And then there was the whole 3 a.m. thing. So we end the day with two segments. We've got Colette Brunschwig and then a word from Adrian. And then we can go our ways for a few hours and freshen up before we see each other again. Does anyone in here not know who Colette Brunschwig is? There you go. So that's not surprising because she's not very good at promoting herself, but she's actually an incredibly important woman in her field. She was the Institute of the Unit of Legal Visualization at University of Zurich in Switzerland. And this institute or unit has been in existence for a very long time. And so she has pioneered legal visualization long before I'd even heard of it. So I think it's absolutely wonderful. I hadn't heard of her until Helena introduced me to her work either. So it's really great. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, but I chose the same model that I chose for Robert Sikoryak, except she gave me a full video, so I'm going to have to flag up the stops in the video, but I hope that works. So I asked her 5 questions, and the first question I asked her was if she could please give us a brief history of the legal visualization unit. How did this come about? When was it formed, and how did she get the inspiration for this unit? And it stops at 4:53.
Hello, Perth, dear Camilla, dear colleagues. I am Colette Brunschwig. I am sorry I cannot be here today, but glad to appear via video. To answer your first question, the Legal Visualization Unit is a research unit under the auspices of the Center for Legal History at the Department of Law, University of Zurich. In 1992, I started working there. At that time, this unit was called Rechtshistorische Bildstelle, Legal Historic Image Unit. I am responsible for the content management of the Legal Visualization Unit's Legal Image database. While working with legal images, I encountered the illuminated manuscripts of the Saxon Mirror, a law book that was written between 1220 and 1235. Looking at these manuscripts, one recognizes the legal text on the right side and its illustrations, legal visualizations, on the left side of the parchment page. In 1993, the first web browser emerged with a graphic interface, Mosaic. Later, Netscape Navigator came into being, and so forth. Those browsers led to the internet boom of the 1990s. During During that period, I had the intuition that the illuminated manuscripts of the Saxon Mirror might act as a model to visualize modern legal texts, such as legislation. Based on this hunch, I started exploring legal visualization, whereby I not only drew on legal iconography, but also used insights of visual design and visual communication. After Professor Klaus-Dieter Schott had retired at the end of March 2004, I suggested to Professor Andreas Thier, my new supervisor, to rename the Rechtshistorische Bildstelle Abteilung Rechtsvisualisierung Legal Visualization Unit. What prompted me to make that suggestion? First, legal visualization is a modern term. Second, the newly created label should draw the attention both of legal scholars and practitioners to this cutting-edge research topic. Third, I had successfully finished my PhD thesis, Visualisierung von Rechtsnormen, Legal Design, Visualization of Legal Norms, Legal Design. This is the book. I realized that this topic gained momentum. Eventually, Professor Andreas Thier agreed to rename the research unit.
So the synergy between history and law and then IT as it develops, something that we are beginning to explore in different ways now. How amazing is that? And I love that Kim brought up the illustrated manuscripts earlier. I was going, so it's, I think it's just such a beautiful synergy. So I then went on to ask her another question to try and describe some of the projects she's been working on, and to share some of the research that the Legal Visualization Unit have been doing. Okay, she's obviously left me some time.
In the absence of funding, it was thus far not possible to manage any large legal visualization project. Instead, I focused on publishing papers and giving presentations relating to this topic. In doing so, I expanded on legal audio visualization, legal